welcome to this Grizzly broadcast, a special, welcome to the special Cubs broadcast covering round 3 of the NE2B district tournament. Sorry, I've been running. We're at West Valley High School and ready to watch the Upper Columbia Academy Lions face off against the Kettle Falls Bulldogs. Fans start to fill in the stands as the clock ticks closer to tip-off. There's 1 minute, 50 seconds left. We're just going to jump right into it. With UCA, they are a 0-10 in league and 4-17 overall. They tend to score, in the 40s and the 50s. They are much of an older team with only 3 sophomores and no freshmen. They will have to focus on finding opportunities to score and making sure their shots count. They are more of an offensive team. Birmingham leading scores and rebounds. They are a pretty low fouling team, which is good, unlike some teams. They like to work the entire court as far as scoring goes, which is pretty good. They are a man-to-man defense. Fly brings in some speed to the team, which is good. Chiefs likes to get some work done for this team, which is also good. Seems like they'd probably be a pretty good combo on the court. They need to focus on keeping endurance up through the whole game, typically stronger in the first half. So I guess we'll find out through this game if they will or not. They played Davenport on Saturday and lost 83-59. And we are going right into Kettle Falls with 40 seconds left. Let's see if I can make it. Sitting 9-2 overall, but 5-7 in league. They only played Colfax on Tuesday and lost 80-28. There are only 2 seniors and 1 freshman on the team, so this team is all over the board as far as age goes. Pretty crazy. Not a ton of height, but they do have Fandry standing at 6'5". Offense, they're an offense-based team, but are still able to hold their own in defense. Mace Tiviage, leading scorer, and will pull up from anywhere on the court. They're starting to run a more zone defense rather than the normal man, so it might take the Lions a little more pressure than normal. I do not have starters just yet, but with the matchup, there's an offense versus defense, so we will see a lot of back and forth with it. UCA relies on experienced players like Birmingham for scoring and rebounding, and here's some key things to watch out for this game. Which team can capitalize on turnovers and fast breaks? How UCA's offense handles the Bulldogs' zone defense, whether Kettle Falls can slow down the Lions' scores, and to expect lots of back-and-forth action, likely to be competitive for the final buzzer. So that's something you should probably like to ask yourself and find out through this game. Now we're going to get into our scores. Starting off, 0, Jack Johnson, 5'11", a senior. Number 2, Zach Chavez, 6 foot, senior as well. Number 3, Tayton Evans, 6 foot, also a senior. We have number 5, Mitha Madaki, 6 foot, he's a sophomore. Number 12, Steve Birmingham, 6'3", and a senior. And for our Kettle Falls boys, of course it's boys, we have number 10, Copper McKern, 5'11", he is a junior. 21, Cody Adams, 6'1", also a junior. 22, Zach Burke, 5'10", a sophomore as well. 25, Mace Tiviage, 6'3", and a senior. And lastly, Jackson Fandry, 6'5", and a senior. That is your starters. Let's see how this game rolls into play. I have no one here with me today. I might have Carter with me today if he's feeling a little better. But let's see who is going to win the tip-off. It's either going to be the Kettle Falls Bulldogs or Columbia? Yes, Columbia. Okay. We have McKern versus Steve Birmingham. No, it is not McKern. It is actually Jackson. And Jackson gets it. It is in the hands of the Bulldogs. They're bringing it down to that half court. Going over to that left wing, over to that left block. Shoots it in for 2, it makes it in. Now it's in the hands of the Lions. Passes it over to 0. Oh, and there's going to be a foul call on that. No foul actually.
They didn't end up starting the shot clock, so they will just resume play from the far sideline.
Carter, you're back. Just a little bit. He's here in presence. Okay, Lions are inbounding the ball. You have number 5 inbounding the ball.
That would be Matakiwe.
Yes. We are getting a little talk from the refs. Waiting for the shot clock to be perfect. And it is ready. No. We have a little bit of miscommunication between the refs right now. And it is now good. We have Lions inbounding the ball, handed over 3 on that left deep corner. But the Bulldogs quickly take it back from them, bringing it down near the half court. Now over to the left wing. Back over to that left slot. Brings it up through the paint. Doesn't make it though. 40 tries to rebound it, but that is going to be a foul call for number 0, Jack Johnson, his first personal and his team's first foul. Now we have number 10 on the line for the Bulldogs. And it does not make it in. It looked like it was going to. And it gets rebounded by the Bulldogs. 21 has it, brings it over to that left slot. Bring it up to that deep corner, and he makes it for the 3. And now it's in the hands of the Lions. Number 5 has it. Matake hands it over to 3. Top of the arc. Gets it in for that 3. And now the Bulldogs inbounds it. Tosses it down to that middle court. Hands it back over to 22. Tries to find somewhere to hand it off to. Hands it off to that right slot. It does not go in. Into the hands of Lions. Kind of plays around the defense. Hands it over 0. Top of the key. Does not make it. Gets rebounded by the Bulldogs. Goes right into the defenders. Tries to make it up. Does not make it for the 2. And that is going to be a foul for number 3, Tayton Evans. .25 is up on the line. Does not make the first one. There's 1 more to go. And he makes it. Inbounded by 12. Hands over 5. Back to 0. Goes down to where the left corner is. Brings it in for the 3. Bounces off the rim. Lions rebound it. Back over to that right slot. Doesn't make it either. Lions rebound it again after Liberty trying to take it back. Hands over top of the arc. Brings it down to the right elbow. Doesn't seem to make it, and a foul gets called. That is going to be a foul for number 11, Alex Mazanek, his first personal foul and his team's first foul. Now Lions inbounding the ball. Trying to hand it over to 5, but actually Liberty the Bulldogs taking it back. Goes down to that right wing and then hands it over to that left block. Tries to make it up, doesn't go in. Now back in the hands of the Lions. Dribbles it down over to that left corner. Tries to dribble it through into that left block, and he makes it. It is good. Now back into the hands of the Bulldogs. Brings it down through the paint. It does not make it, bounces off the rim, gets rebounded by 40, almost makes it in, but then it spirals out. Now hands the Lions, brings it down to that left deep corner, throws it down to that right short corner. Tries to hand down to the 5, and it gets out of bounds. Gets back into bounds though, and does not make the shot, so now it gets into the hands of the Bulldogs, and then they don't make it. And so now the Lions took it back from them, and a foul will be called. That will be number 22, Zach Burke, for his first personal foul and his team's second foul. And so now we have Lions inbounding the ball. Number 5 handed it off to 23. Hands it down to that deep corner. Tries to pull up through into that block. Makes it. That is a good 2. Bulldogs inbound the ball. Number 22 has it. Goes down the court. He has it in that middle. Now brings it down to that right slot. Now over to that right wing. Back over to that right slot. Brings it down into that right block, and it goes in. Tiviage for 2. Back in the hands of Lions. 0 has it. He tries to put it through another defender's legs, I guess. Tries to bring it over to 5, and he misses it, and it goes out of bounds. So now it is immediately into the hands of the Bulldogs. Hands it over to 25, trying to find someone to hand it off to, all going down the court. Hands it off to 22. 5 trying to get it out of his hands. 22 going down into the paint, tries to throw it up for a 2, and it doesn't work out. Lions trying to get back at it, doesn't go well, and so now it went out of bounds, and so now it's going to be into the hands of the Bulldogs. 22 trying to find someone to hand it off to. Hands it off to 25. Up into that short corner. Off that right slot. Left slot, I mean. And he doesn't make it. The Lions get it rebounded, though. And so now 5 is going down the court. Going down that right side. Off that right elbow. Oh, and he fumbles it. Now back into the hands of the Bulldogs. Number 10 almost fumbles it, but then gets it back. Hands it off to 21. And throws it over to 22 off that right block and does not make it. Tried to do a spin move, but then it actually went out of bounds. And so now it is going to be in the hands of the Bulldogs. 22 yet again. Trying to find someone to hand it off to. Hands it off to 21, and he seems to have made it. It is 10-7, 3:06 in the first quarter. The Lions have the ball. Hands it down through the middle, then through the top of the arc, then off that right elbow, but then it does not make it, and that is going to be a foul call on number 10, Copper McKern, for his first personal foul and his team's 3rd foul. Now we have 0 on the line. Jackson Johnson does not make it in for that first one. Bounces off the rim. And now we're going to have a sub, I think. Number 11, Ethan Fly. No. Alex Mazanek. And he makes it in for the second one. Now it's in the hands of the Bulldogs. 25 going down the court with it. Tries to hand it down to that right side, and then it gets blocked and taken away by Mason Reeves. No, Matawicki. And he does not make it. Actually, I thought he made it. And then they go back down. Kettle Falls doesn't make it. Back into the hands of 5. Tries to make a 3 off that right slot, and it doesn't make it. Now into the hands of Bulldogs. 11. Tries to toss it over to his teammate, and it doesn't work out. Lions kind of took it away from him. And so they kind of play back and forth with it off that right key. It doesn't make it. Bulldogs take it back away over to the left, over to that right block. And it doesn't make it again. So now back into the hands of the Lions. And that is going to be a timeout for the Lions. And I will be right back after this short break. And we are back with this Grizzly broadcast at West Valley, my bad. Lions are inbounding it with number 0. Trying to bounce it back and forth with 5. Hands it over to that right slot. Goes down into the top of the key. Goes back down to that right elbow. Tries to hand it off to number 12, and then he fumbles it. Bulldogs now have it in their possession. He brings it down to that right key, and he makes it in for that 2. 14-8, 1:30 in this first quarter. Lions now have the ball. Hands it down to that right slot, right wing I should say. Back over to the right short corner. 12 trying to get it away from the defense. Doesn't seem to make it. 5 trying to not make it go out of bounds, but it actually does. And so now it is in the hands of the Bulldogs. And Zach Burke inbounding the ball. Hands it over to Tiviage. Tiviage going down the court with it, skip it along. Handing it down to that left slot right there. Now to that left wing, hand up for the 3, and he makes it. It is good. Tiviage for that 3. Now it is in the hands of Charles. Tries to bring it down to top of the arc. Doesn't make it. Bulldogs get it out of their hands. Tries to hand it down to 11, but Lions get it back out again. But then, once again, another foul gets called. Number 11. I think that's Alex Mazanek. First personal foul. Team's 3rd foul. Okay, now it's in the hands of the Bulldogs. Dribbling it back and forth with 25 trying to get it off that right slot. Doesn't make it, but then gets rebounded by 40, and he makes it. Now in the hands of Lions. Bringing it down. Throws it over to that deep left. Finding someone or somewhere to bring it off to. One trying to get past the defenders, and it gets taken away by Ethan Fly. No, Alex. And then he tries to hands off to 25, but that will not work out for him. That is a foul call on, I think, Xander Johnson or Jack Johnson. So now it's in the hands of the Lions. Passing it back and forth, going down the court. Now they're past the half court. Tries to hand it over to 13, doesn't make it, and so now 21 has it. Brings it up over to that right block. Tries to bring it up for the 2, and it doesn't make it. That is the end of the first quarter, 21-8. And I'll be right back after this break. See ya. are back to this Cubs broadcast in this district playoffs. We have Steve Birmingham inbounding the ball, handed it over to Charles, trying to hand it back over to Steve, but then the Bulldogs take it away, makes it up for the 2 on that right block. Lions inbound it, tossing it back and forth between Charles and Steve, bringing it down to that deep left corner, trying to bring it up to that short corner, and bring it up top of the rim, and it just doesn't make it, and a foul will get called on Alex Mazanek for his second personal foul. I'm pretty sure his team's first foul. It is now a new quarter. Okay, Lions are inbounding the ball. Hands it over to Evans. Tries to get it up for that 3 maybe. It doesn't make it. Bulldogs now have the ball. Hands it over to 32 in that right block. And he makes it. That is Xander Johnson. But there is going to be some kind of foul called. I did not catch that. But it is now Xander Johnson on the line. He does not make it for that 1. And now in the hands of the Lions, Birmingham has it, bringing it down through the key, back over to that deep corner for that 3, does not make it. Lions try to rebound the ball, almost gets out of bounds, hands it to the top of the key, top of the arc, down to that deep right corner, doesn't make it, gets into the hands of the Bulldogs. Back down to that left side with Zach Burke. Zach Burke was not able to get it into his hands, and it went out of bounds. And so now it's in the hands of the Lions. Cody Adams just tried to get it out of the hands of Charles. Doesn't get it. Hands it over back to Xander. But then the Bulldogs take it away from him. Now we have Tiviage trying to get it from that right corner. Hands it over to Cody Adams. He does not get it. Now it's in the hands of the Lions. Evans tried to get it up there. Then the ball gets taken away by the Bulldogs yet again. Cody Adams, or Zach Burke, trying to hand off to Xander Johnson, and then it goes out of bounds. And there's going to be Jack Johnson inbounding the ball. Hands it over to Madeke. Back over to that right slot, to the top of the arc now. Back over to that left slot, left wing, top of the arc, trying to get it past the defenders. Absolutely slams it over to that left side. Jack Johnson trying to make it up for that 3 in that top left wing. He doesn't make it. And then he hands it over to that right wing. Doesn't make it either. But thankfully they get the ball back into their hands, almost absolutely losing it. Now it's in the hands of Melendi, trying to get it up for that 2. Now back over to that left corner, then to the arc, then to that right short corner, up to that right elbow, trying to get it past the defenders, and he does not get it up. And that is going to be a foul call for 25, Mace Tiviage. So now it is going to be Steve Birmingham up on the line for 2 shots. He makes the first one. The score is 25-9, 5:38 in the second quarter. They're absolutely smashing them. I wouldn't say absolutely, but they got a pretty good, got the upper hand right now. And he makes it. Steve Birmingham for that second shot. Back into the hands of the Bulldogs. Tiviage has it, going down that half court. Brings it over to that right slot, to the right wing. Now up top of the key. Brings it up. He tries to almost dunk it, but doesn't make it. Gets into the hands of the Lions. Madeke takes it away down to that right slot. Tries to hand it back over to Madeke, and it just doesn't make it. It gets out of bounds. Slipped out of his hand, sadly. And so now we have Tiviage inbounding the ball. He's inbounding it to Zach Burke. Back to the hands of Tiviage. Bringing it down to that left key. Doesn't make it, and then it goes out of bounds. And so now it's in the hands of Tayton Evans. Inbounding it over to Madeke. Madeke taking it down to the court, taking it down the court. Trying to find someone to hand it off to. Loses control of the ball, but thankfully Liam gets it from him and then hands it off to Tayton Evans, trying to hit it from that three, doesn't make it. Back over to Liam Hennenberg. Tries to find someone to hand it off to, but just kind of threw it into the stands. That makes it out of bounds. So now there's going to be Tiviage inbounding the ball. Absolutely shooting it over across the court to Copper McKern. Makes it over to that left side. Back over to that right side. Hands it in from that left block. And it goes in for the two. 27-10. 4:20 in this second part of the game. And it is in the hands of Madeke, and he makes it up for that three. Never mind, it was a two. Now back into the hands of Cody Adams. Hands it over to that right slot. Now to that right wing. And then back to that left block. Hands it up top of the rim. Makes it in. Now it's in the hands of the Lions. Johnson trying to hand it off to one of his teammates. Hands it over to Liam. Back over to Johnson. And then over to that left corner of Xander. And then he doesn't seem to make it. Gets it in the hands of Tiviage on that right slot. Tries to bring it up through the paint. Does not seem to make it. And it is going to be a foul on three. Tayton Evans. And there's going to be substitutions. 14 and 12 for the Lions and 11 and 32. 14 and 12, Colby Evans and Steve Birmingham. And so now we have Tiviage inbounding the ball over to Alex Mazanek. Handing it back over to Xander Johnson, making it up. Does not make it up. And so now a foul will get called on by the Bulldogs. Alex Mazanek, I think that is his third personal foul and his team's second foul. So it's going to be inbounded by the Lions, by Madeke. Trying to find someone to hand it off to. Hands it off to Johnson. Johnson taking it down to the court. Seems like he's about to hand it off to that left side. An open arrow's on that left slot. Now it's back to Madeke. Going into that key, into the paint, doesn't make it. Get into the hands of the Bulldogs. Tiviage has it, goes down top of the paint, and then it hands it off to Xander Johnson. Makes it up for that two beautifully. And so now back into the hands of Johnson once more. Going down to the court with it. Handing it off, almost hands it off to Liam, but then actually just gives it to himself. Does not make it up for the two on that left shot. Now it's in the hands of the Bulldogs. 21. Then off to Tiviage on that three. Off that right slot. Right deep slot. Doesn't make it. Now back into the hands of Madeke. Back over to Evans. Evans finding someone to hand it off to. Hands it off to Madeke. Back over to Evans. Evans at the left block. Tries to make it up, but doesn't, and so the Bulldogs grab it from him mid-air. And now we have Cody Adams trying to make it up. It doesn't make it, and so now into the hands of Xander Johnson. And then back over to Cody Adams off that left wing. Doesn't seem to make it. Tries to get it rebounded. Seems a little bit of struggle in the key in the block right there. Lions now have it. Madeke trying to find someone to hand it off to. Goes down to that right slot, right wing. tries to give it off to Liam Henenberg. Doesn't seem to make it. Xander Johnson gets it out of his hands. Xander hands it down to the hands of Cody Adams. Onto that left wing. Now onto that left elbow. And then as he's trying to hand it off to 40, Madeke kind of takes it away from him. And then Jack Johnson gets it in for that 2. It is going to be a foul call, though, on number 5, Mason Reeves, his first personal, and his team's 3rd foul, maybe even 4th. Now we have Jack Johnson on the line, getting ready for a shot. And it does not make it. Swirls off of the rim in the hands of Tiviage, absolutely sprinting down the court to get it on that 2. Into the rim. Beautiful. And so now back in the hands of Madeke. Madeke hands it off into the paint. Tiviage grabs it mid-shoot, brings it down to the court on that 3 of the arc, and he makes it. Tiviage for the 3. 36-14, 35 in this quarter, and there's going to be a timeout called, and I'll be right back after this short break. And we are back with this beautiful Cubs broadcast. We have the Lions taking it. Jack Johnson inbounding the ball over to Madeke. Madeke with the ball, bringing it up through the arc, down the court, passing that logo. Handing it over to Colby Evans. Almost gets it out of bounds, but then he has it in his hands. Tiviage smacks it out of Madeke's hands and absolutely slams it up into that basket, making it a perfect 2-pointer. Now back in the hands of Madeke. Going back down on that right wing. Doesn't make it. Back into the hands of Jack Johnson on that top of the key. And I don't think it makes it. It is 38-14 in this round, in this quarter. I'm having a brain fart. Okay, I will see you right after this quick break into the 3rd quarter. welcome to this halftime yap. We have 110 in the last of this halftime. A little late to it, but we're still here. I have my good friend, good buddy Carter over here. He's coming back a little bit.
Hello, guys.
He's he's currently eating right now, but he will be joining us in just a second. Just to get a little recap on this game, it is 38-14. I am pretty sure Carter isn't 38 the Lions.
38 is the Bulldogs.
Yes.
Leading scorer for the Bulldogs is Mace Tiviage. No surprise there.
Of course, yeah, no surprise. He's like the all-time star player, best player on the team in my opinion. We got 20 seconds left. It has been a crazy match. Bulldogs have absolutely just been on it this game. But so have the Lions as well, which is kind of crazy how they only have 14 points because from what I've seen from this match is, they've been putting their all into it. It seems like they've been doing like a lot. But overall, the Bulldogs have been getting those 3-pointers absolutely wildly. And now we are back into this Grizzly broadcast. Okay, let's figure it out. Who is going to be inbounding? Cool. We have 21 Cody Adams inbounding the ball over to Zach Burke. Going down, back over to Adams. And then once again to Cody Adams. Trying to go down to that left block. Tries to make it up, doesn't get it. Then Copper McKern gets it rebounded. And then we got Tiviage on that left block. Hits it up through into the basket, and it makes it in good. And now there's going to be a timeout. That was very quick. I'll see you right after this quick break. Why is it so quick? We are back with this Grizzly broadcast. We have, let's find out who's going to be inbounding this. The Lions are going to be inbounding it. We have Jack Johnson handing it over to Matakai. Matakai going down the court with it. We have Zach Burke on the defense on him, trying to make sure he doesn't get that ball passed. Handing it over to Jack Johnson, but Jack Johnson slips, and then it gets brought over to Cody Adams. Cody Adams with the 2 on that left block, brings it up beautifully. And then now back into the hands of Matakai with McKern absolutely on him, trying to get the ball away, and then he does. And we have McKern on that left block, getting up for that 2, but he doesn't make it. That is going to be a foul call for Zach Chavez. His second personal and his team's 3rd foul. And Tiviage now has 2 shots on him. Let's see how it goes. First one bounces off the front of the rim, does not make it in. Trying to shake out all the badness. Trying to get it good in this. That made no sense. Throws it up. And it does not go in. Bounces off the backboard into the hands of Matakai. Matakai going down through that right wing there. Tries to hand over to the left wing. Then it gets in the hands of the Bulldogs. We have Tiviage chucking it down the court, trying to get it into the hands of McKern, but throws it a little bit too hard so it goes out of bounds. And then back into the hands of the Lions. Now we have Matakai handing it over to Birmingham. Birmingham trying to get it up, then gets taken away from McKern. McKern handed it over to Zach Burke. Zach Burke to Tiviage. Tiviage over to McKern, hitting up for the 2. Tiviage for the 2. McKern gets it inbounded off to that right wing, then over to that right elbow. And then Bulldogs have it in. And that is Cody Adams trying to get it up. Does not work though. So that goes out of bounds and into the hands of Matakai. Matakai handing it over to Jack Johnson. But then we have McKern stepping into the way, getting the ball from Johnson, handing it over to Tiviage on that arc. Hand it over to that left slot. Now onto that left elbow. Then we have Johnson taking the ball from his hands, going down past the arc. Now through the half court. Hand it over to Evans near that logo. Doesn't seem to make it to Matakai. So then McKern comes in through and sweeps it away from him, going right down to that right block. Doesn't seem to make it either. And that's going to be into the hands back of the Bulldogs. 22. Hands it over to Tiviage. Tiviage up to Jackson, and he makes that for the 2 on that right block. Into the paint. And now it's into the hands of Jack Johnson, trying to get it past McKern. Doesn't seem like he can, so he hands it off to Tayton Evans. Now he's on that right corner, hands it off to the left corner. Over to Zach. Zach seems to try to get it up into the basket. Doesn't seem to get it. So then we have Jackson getting it away from him. Back over to McKern. Tries to hand it over. And it gets out of bounds on where that short right corner is. And so now we have the Lions inbounding it. Matakai inbounding it once more. Hands it over to Evans. Evans back over to Matakai. Back over to Chavez on that right slot there, and then goes up for the 2. Then the Bulldogs are now having it inbounded. And Tiviage has it on that right slot, and then over into Jackson, into that paint, back up into that beautiful 2-pointer. 48-16, 4:28 in this third quarter. Now it's in the hands of Matakai, handed over to Johnson. Try to get up for the 2, does not make it. So then it goes back into the hands of Tiviage. Tiviage on that right wing goes into the paint, and he makes it for the 2. But I think that is going to be a foul call. Yes. Number 2 on Zach Chavez, his second personal foul, I'm pretty sure, and his team's 4th foul. And then now in the hands of the Bulldogs. Zach Burke handing over to Tiviage. Back over to McKern on that right side. And then to Alex Mazanek on that arc. And he makes it. So now it's in the hands of Birmingham. And then over to Jack Johnson on that deep right corner there. And he makes it in. And now it's going to be inbounded by Ethan Fly. Handing it back. No, Alex Mazanek. Handed it over to Jackson Fandry. Back over to Mazanek. And then up to Zach Burke. Doesn't seem to make the 2, though. So now it's in the hands of the Lions. Hands it over to Jack Johnson on that right slot. Up. Back over to that right slot with Matakai. Tries to hand it over to Steve Birmingham, but it seemed like the Bulldogs got it out of his hands. Defending just too good. And then we have Tiviage taking it from the hands of him and going down to the right block and just absolutely slamming it into the basket. And so now back into the hands of Jack Johnson and the Matakai. Back to Jack Johnson on where that arc is, and then on to that right slot. Handing it back and forth with each other. Matakai trying to bring it in with a 3-pointer from the key, and it doesn't seem to work out. Bulldogs try to take it away from Jack Johnson in the paint. Doesn't work out, though. That's going to be called out on a foul. And so now So, anyways, it is now, got distracted there, going to be in the hands of the Bulldogs. 21, Cody Adams. Handing it over to Mazanek. Mazanek bringing it down the court. I'm trying to find somewhere to hand it off to. Hands it off to McKern. Back over to Mazanek. Brings it up for that three, and it is good. Off that arc. Inbounded by Matakai. Matakai bringing it over to 20. This is going to be on my list. Then back over to Jack Johnson on that deep right corner. Bounces off the rim. So now it's back in the hands of Cody Adams. Taking it down to the court on that right block. Makes it up for the two. Back to Matakai. He's now at the arc. Handing it over to that left slot there. Now left short corner. Left elbow. Make it up for the three, but he doesn't seem to make it. So now back in the hands of Cody Adams once more. Tries to bring it over to Mason Reeves, but then it gets out of bounds. And that, I think that might be a foul. No, it is not. Just a untied shoe. And so now it's going to be over into the hands of the Lions. We have Charles bringing it over. Try to bring it to that top of the arc. Brings it over to that right slot with Colby Evans with the ball. Try to bring it down to that left block. Doesn't seem to make it. Bulldogs get it out of their hands. Adams bringing it down to that right slot. Bring it down to the left slot now with McKern. Bringing it back over with Reeves on that right wing. Handing it back over to Xander Johnson. Doesn't seem to make the two, though. We have somebody trying to tie their shoe on the court. Now inbounded, getting inbounded by Zach Johnson to Charles. Charles going down the court, trying to get past Mason Reeves. So then he brings it over into the hands of Colby Evans on that right slot. Brings it over to the left slot of Liam. And brings it into with Steve, make it up for the two. And then has it way back over to the hands of Alex Mazanek, bringing it up with the two over on that right block. Now back into the hands of Charles, handing it over to Steve Birmingham. Back over to Colby Evans for that three in the deep right corner. Doesn't seem to make it. And so the Bulldogs take it out of their hands. We have McKern handed over to Mazanek. Back to McKern. And trying to make it up for the two on that left corner. Doesn't make it. Now it's in the hands of Charles. And a foul will be called. Oops. And that will be number 11, Alex Mazanek, for his fourth personal. And that is time for the third quarter, 60-21. That is I'll be right back after this quick break. We are back into this Grizzly Hello? Okay, we're good. We're back into this Grizzly broadcast. Sorry, I didn't think my mic was on. It is definitely. What I was trying to say earlier is there's a 39-point difference with the Bulldogs and the Lions. We have Matakai inbounding the ball on that, where the half court is. I didn't read that right. It's okay, though, because now it's in the hands of Charles. Over into that deep right corner, bringing it into the paint. Up for two, and it makes it in. It is good. Never mind, that was for three. It is good, up for three. Into the hands of Cody Adams. Back over to Mason Reeves on that right short corner. Bringing it up to 32. Back over to 21. Trying to hit the three off that deep left arc. Doesn't seem to make it. Matakai takes the ball from him. Doesn't make that three from the deep right corner. So he hands it off to Colby Evans. Back over to Steve Birmingham. And then he makes it for that two. Into the hands of Cody Adams. Bringing it up with the two, I think. And now we're in a timeout for the Bulldogs. I'll be right back after this quick short break. And welcome back to this Grizzly broadcast. We have the Lions inbounding the ball. Matakai specifically inbounding the ball. I'm going to be inbounding over it to Jack Johnson. Back to Matakai. Matakai after that half courtyard. Back over to Johnson. Then to Matakai. Play a little monkey in the middle with it. Then over to the right slot. Back to Matakai in that key. Does not make it up for the two. So the Bulldogs now have it in their possession. We have Cody Adams bringing it down to that left slot, bringing it down to that right slot, bringing it into that right key. He has it up for two. Now into the hands, wasn't in the hands of Charles. Bulldogs took it back into the possession though. Now it's in the hands of McKern. McKern going down that left side on that left wing. Now into that right elbow. Handed it over to Devin Fisher. Trying to get it up for that two, does not work out, and it gets stolen by Liam Hennenberg. Now back to Matakai, into that key, top of the key, doesn't seem to make it, goes out of bounds. Bulldogs try to take it, didn't work out for them. So now we have Matakai inbounding the ball again with McKern on the defense on him. Matakai handed it over to Steve. Steve does not make it for that right block. Kind of gets tossed around. Doesn't seem to make it in general. And so now we have a Matakai inbounding the ball. Handing it over back to Steve. Steve with that three that did not work out in that deep right corner. Back over to Matakai on that left slot. Doesn't even make it either. Bounces off the backboard into the hands of McKern. Then over into the hands of Mason Reeves. Trying to make up that three in that deep right corner. Doesn't make it. So now it's in the hands of Matakai. Matakai at the top of the arc. Bringing it over to that left slot. And then that left elbow. And then absolutely just lobbing it into the bucket. And he makes it 64-27, 5:15 in this fourth quarter. Now it's in the hands of Cody Adams. Cody Adams bringing it into that left elbow, going it down into that right block. But then it gets blocked by Steve. And so now there's going to be a foul on Zach Birch, I think, is what I saw correctly. But now it's in the hands of Zach Birch. Hand it over to McKern. McKern's at the top of the paint. Over to Zach Burke. Zach Burke to Mason Reeves. Then back to Burke again on top of the arc. Bring it over. Excuse me. Bring it over to the right block. And then having to hand it back over to McKern on that left slot. And then trying to bring it up on that three and doesn't make it, so now it's in the hands of Steve. So now, sorry for that, we have it in the hands of Zach Birch trying to get past Colby Evans, and he does. He hands it off to McKern, then back over to Xander Johnson. Into the hands of Devin Fisher, up for the two, and he makes it on that right block. And then now, Lions have it. Charles trying to get it past the Bulldogs. Doesn't seem to make it, so he hands it off to Steve Birmingham, and he makes it for that two. For the three, even better. Now, back in the hands of McKern. And then hands it over to Zach Burke, back to McKern on that right block, and he absolutely makes it, slams it into that bucket. Making a good two. Now it's in the hands of the Lions. Johnson handing it over to Xander, making it in for the three on that right slot, and there's going to be a timeout. So we're going to take a quick timeout too. Then we'll be right back. And we are back. I'm sorry for the delay. It is in the hands of Zach Burke. And over to Mason Reeves. Top of the arc with Aaron. And then over to Kennan. Tries to make it up for the three in the paint, but he doesn't. And that is going to be a foul call on 13. Xander Mellandy. His first personal foul and his team's first foul. Now we have Cannon Schmidt on the line. First one goes in beautifully. He has one more to go. Let's see if he makes it in just as nice as the last one. He goes, and it does not make it. It bounces off the left side of the rim. But thankfully, we have Devin Fisher going in, rebounding it, and he makes it for the two. 71-33, 2:55 in this fourth quarter. That is absolutely crazy with how much the Bulldogs have it on them. And so there is going to be a foul call on 33. I think that was Cannon Schmidt. Now it's in the hands of Jack Johnson, handing it down over to Liam. Liam trying to get up for that three, doesn't make it. Now in the hands of the Bulldogs. We have Zach Birch going down nice and slow with it, bringing it over to Cannon on that right wing, now left wing, now on that, still on the left with Zach Birch with the ball in his hands, brings it down through the paint and up into that bucket, making it a beautiful domination with that two-pointer. I don't know what I came up with, but now it's in the hands of the Lions. And it's in the hands of Xander. Back over to Steve Birmingham. Trying to bring it up to that right corner. Doesn't seem to make it. So then he tosses it over to that left elbow. And then now it's going to be a foul call on 22, Zach Burke, for his first foul and his team's third foul. Oh, and now there's a sub rolling in for Tayton Evans. Now it's in the hands of Jack Johnson, the Lions. Back over to Tayton Evans on that left corner, short corner, make it up for the 3. He makes it for the 2, actually. And so now in the hands of Alex. Get the ones mixed up. Over into the hands of Cannon Schmidt, trying to bring it up, but it gets it gets taken away from the Lions. And I'm pretty sure it was Liam taking it down into the paint, trying to bring it up for 2. Does not make it. Fumbles a little bit. Now it's back in the hands of the Bulldogs. Number 5, Mason Reeves, trying to get it onto that left elbow. Doesn't seem to make it. So now it's in the hands of Liam. And then over to Tayton Evans, trying to get a 3-pointer on that right slot. Now back into the hands of the Bulldogs, trying to slow it down a little bit. Hand it over to that left wing, then over to that left block. And that is number 5, Mason Reeves, trying to throw it up in there, lob it up, but doesn't seem to make it. And so now there's going to be a foul call on 21, Liam Hennenberg. And we have his first personal and his team's second foul. Mason Reeves on the line. He doesn't make the first one. He's going to make the second one. And he makes it. It is in. Swishes around into the net. Now it's in the hands of Jack Johnson, with Mason Reeves defending him. So then Johnson brings it over to Colby Evans. Colby Evans trying to find someone to hand it off to. Throws a little bit too far, so now it's in the hands of Alex Maznek. Maznek bringing it down through the court. Hand it off to Mason Reeves on that left slot, left wing. Tries to make it up for the 3, but he doesn't. And that is the score. 74-35, 74 are the Bulldogs, 35 is the Lions. Thank you so much for watching and maybe even listening to this beautiful broadcast. Our next game,
it will be the St. George Dragons versus the, who is it?
we will find out in just a minute.
St. George Dragons versus the Reardon Screaming Eagles. I should have known that. I saw them getting warmed up over on that far sideline at halftime, doing hacky sack, I think. So.
Hacky sack?
Yeah, that's their pregame ritual. Did you not know that?
I did not know that, but thank you for informing me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we'll end this stream right here, whereas it is, and we'll get right into that stream. Thank you for watching Cubs FM.
Bye.